was that 4 minutes late today, huh?
3 minutes late. You start that stinking countdown. I would have been on at 3:02 if you didn't do that countdown.
You got to do the countdown even when you late.
Why do you have to do the countdown? People aren't tuning in for the countdown.
It's so professional. You don't fuck with the professionalism of the countdown?
When I turn on a television, they don't do a countdown. They just do the show.
Nah, just they show the intro. Even if a show been on for 20 years, SVU, you still get the intro right now to this day, 27 years later.
They have production credits and whatnot. This is like breaking news emergency stuff. They don't do an intro when they dropped a nuclear bomb on Japan. They said this just in.
So you want to go more news, not so much programming.
I don't know. We could do a little bit. I think if we lead it right.
I think we need to make an intro. I think next time you come to LA, we need to make an SVU intro. That's for the lunch hour. And then it starts like the intro. We had a dum boom, 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 boom. And like we just investigating all kind of like crazy shit in the world.
I want to do 3 different intro concepts, one for each day of the week, and they could be thematic. One's like SVU. The other one's kind of like Family Matters, where we turn and wave, and then it shows our name. Like we're doing a thing.
Yo, so we agree. Shout out to everybody in the comments. No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Pacific time, noon. You feel me? Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. You know what I'm saying? Do that real quick. Click the thumbs up button. Check the comments. You know what I'm saying? Hit the comments up so I can see y'all in here. Shout y'all out correctly. Dude. Go into the description. Subscribe to No Ceilings Podcast. That's the reason why we do this. We do the No Ceilings Podcast. That's the exact reason why we do this. You know what I'm saying? So go to the No Ceilings Live Podcast. Feel me? And we in the game. Feel me? Subscribe. It's a link below. Executive produced by Charlemagne the God, Black Effect Network, and iHeart.
We could do something like a role reversal of the Fresh Prince intro, where I get out of a cab on 117th Street in Wilmington, and then I walk up, and then next thing you know, I'm getting thrown out of the house at the end of the intro.
I like that too. Oh man, so. Shout out to the homie. I think his name is either pronounced Real Sudis or Sutis. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Shout out to the homie from Twitter. But I thought it was interesting. And he gave me the idea that I wanted to talk about. Glasses, did I go through a character change? Nah. I just, not even like that. Not even like that. Shout out to Laura, Neek, Land, feel me, Fats, Hassan, JD, my favorite, Squishy. I just put together your package, Squishy, and sealed it up. And I got you for your C-Day. Fats, the homie Fats, what's up, Fats? Bella, what's up, Queen? JD, Thug, what's happening, Nick? Everybody in here showing love, you feel me? Westside, what's happening? So the homie, so today I'm looking and I realized it's a great time to be on the West Coast. Ice Cube is dropping Friday. He's dropping a new album this Friday. I don't know why the name is slipping. You feel me? Snoop is dropping in December. As soon as I leave here, I'm gonna go to the compound with him and Dre. They invited me over there to check out the record. They want to play the record for me, so I get to be critical over some people I grew up listening to. Exhibit is dropping in February. I'm dropping in March, the 110 album. Oh, Ice Cube's album's called Man Down. Snoop's album is called Missionary. I know Exhibit's album, he sent me the cover. I helped choose the cover. And then we dropping Glass Malone Presents 110 with me, Joey, and Deuce. And I was like, man, somebody got to drop in January. Maybe Game. I know Game was preparing documentary 3. So I thought it would be dope to, if he dropped in January and we just getting back to business. And a homie hopped on my Twitter. He tweeted me, and he said something specific to He said, he responded to the tweet where I named all these albums in the month. For sure, rest in peace, Saphir. That's a good point. Cousin Harold, man. That was a dope brother. I never got a chance to meet Cousin Saphir. I never got a chance to meet Cousin Harold Saphir, and he was hella dope. But so homie responds to me when I'm really showing support for Cube, Snoop, Exhibit, And he said, respectfully, I'm from Compton, Greenleaf, and Willowbrook. I love old West Coast, but new artists have to be featured more or get more exposure like these established artists have within LA culture. And I responded to him and I let him know, like I'm from around the corner from where you from. And I don't think really that wasn't the appropriate time to really say that. You know what I mean? Like if you showing love to a particular group of people, and that's to me where social media can be a bit like, you know what I mean? Kind of like counterproductive, where it's like you showing love to ketchup and niggas start talking about mustard. You know what I mean? It's like, what about mustard? It's like, that's not what this is about. But it sent me into a spiral of thought. And it took me back to when I first started. We created a movement when I first started in 2005, 6, 7 called West Coast Hip Hop, right? New West. That was our movement. And my attitude when I first got in this game was always like, I felt like I didn't get embraced by the legends. And I don't even know what that embrace should look like. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know quite what I expected. But we started a movement called New West because we were on our own and we had to make it happen. Like none of us was getting signed to labels. You know what I'm saying? And forgive me, Suddies, I'm not saying that was your intentions to be that way. I'm just saying social media can create that environment where you could be showing love to something specifically, you know what I'm saying, and other things come into play. And it may not be the time for that. But anyway, we started this New West movement, right? And me, Bishop, and Mike Stroh, we were like at the pinnacle of it. And really, it wasn't negative. It was just like, okay, we on our own, so we're gonna make our own movement. See, back then I even like unconsciously knew you needed a movement to market when it comes to hip hop. Does that make sense, Pete?
Sure.
Okay, so as the movement started picking up steam, different new artists who were in the game or just getting in the game or been struggling in the game felt like, damn, it's some dudes that we can be down with. They with us and we with them. So they became a part of the movement. And within that conversation, now you have people with real gripes. You know what I mean? It was with real gripes. Like people who had felt like they've been messed over by certain legendary artists. You know what I mean? They had gripes. So what started coming from the movement was like, you know, F them old dudes, or I got a problem with this person. You know what I'm saying? It just started being crazy. You know what I mean? It started being a different thing. And a lot of the legends started responding to the energy. And because everybody kept saying New West, right? And they knew the center of New West was Glasses Low from 7th Street, was Glasses Malone. So immediately people start talking shit about me. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't, like, this is the New West. I get it. Like, this is Pepsi and we talking about Coke, but I never said nothing about Coke. But now as they start to respond to me or start saying shit to me, feel me? Now I got to say something back. I'm compelled, right? I'm still hella street. I'm still hella Crip. Like, so I'm giving them the energy they asking back. So now I'm talking shit too. Now, not specifically about nobody. Go ahead, Pete.
No, I just didn't know because you're meeting with Dre later and there's kind of this older West Coast theme going on. Is this a bad time to pitch Dre the idea for the new album, The Chronic Lower Back Pain, for the 60 and up crowd?
Yes, it is definitely a problem.
Okay, well, we'll hold on to that for later then. But on the theme as it exists now, it is interesting. Like, this is so parallel in human behavior to so many other topics we've discussed.
Yes, it is.
It's the same. It's the same conversation as what is the kind of collectivist responsibility of wealthy Black people to look out for up and coming Black aspiring wealth. It's the same conversation also as pro-Black doesn't mean anti-white. It's just a recurrence in the same human behavioral pattern that exists throughout the canvas.
Exactly. And that's why, and that was my point. So it's like, I don't disagree with you, because I think when you say one thing, you're saying three things still, even if you're not saying three things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that. I get it. So I'm just taking you back to somebody who had that mind state that he's talking about. You feel me? Like, I had that mind state where I really didn't have I grew up listening to Snoop and Cube. Like, it was to a point that people thought me and Cube really had an issue with each other. And I'm like, dog, I don't have a problem with Cube. I'm telling you my journey in the business. You feel me? It's fucking Ice Cube been buying his fucking album since I was like 8. Like, how the fuck am I gonna have a beef with Ice Cube? So,
real quick,
go ahead.
Snoop, and this is serious, because the beauty of Doggy Style was that it was double entendre between dogs and sex, right?
Yeah.
Now Snoop's a little older. There's no such thing as a missionary dog. Well, the album needs to be called "Put 'Em to Sleep."
Well, that's only if it's like you still evolving past from Doggy Style. But again, because missionary is a play of Doggy Style.
But "Put 'Em to Sleep" is also a play off Doggy Style, because you give it to them Doggy Style, you're gonna put them to sleep. But when dogs get old, you put them to sleep.
Yeah. But chill, because I want to hear this shit later, and the nigga will be telling me later, like, "What's up with your homie?" Don't do that. So look, so we got this New West movement popping, right? You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's blowing up. Bishop get a deal, I get a deal. Mikey is heating up, and now it's like a lot of us. You know what I mean? Everybody is on. J-Rock, like all the homies, we blowing up. But our attitudes was what they were, because it went from a bunch of people talking shit. Like, again, certain people, like Topic really had a bad experience with Dub C. The homie Topic, he's a rapper from West Covina, real dope brother. And he was signed to Dub C, and him and Dub C had an issue and a falling out. You know what I'm saying? So when Topic started pushing New West, he started addressing his issues with Dub. And then, like, it'd be different things. So I guess Legends kind of felt the heat coming. So then they start talking shit about me. Like, maybe Bishop, but they just start talking shit about me. And then, so niggas hearing them talk shit about me. So then we start responding. And then it's a bunch of other little goofy shit, like, right, that really created a weird riff that I really didn't understand. I'm like, bro, like, how does this work? So it got to the point to where, like, Cube, I remember being with Joe Buttons, and this is when this 2011. So Joe Budden is doing a podcast when podcasts don't even exist. That's one thing I can give him credit. That nigga has been podcasting before podcasting was a thing. But he had his laptop halfway. I didn't know he was recording on his laptop. Like, he was talking to his audience. Like, he was just broadcasting live. And he had we on the tour bus, and his laptop is halfway. You know what I mean? It's not wide open, so I don't know he talking on. Not to mention, who the fuck was thinking you was talking to the computer in 2011? I never did no shit like that. So I didn't even know we're streaming or.
That seems a little.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I still wouldn't have knew, because I didn't fucking know. What the fuck could you be doing on the laptop in 2011?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you might want to mention that. I wouldn't do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
I'm giving clarity, so when people hear this, like, they don't think Joe is just like some scammy dude. Like, yeah, he could be vlogging and I didn't know. But no, he was live streaming back then. He was way up name brand on live streaming. Like, I didn't know what that was, bro. So I'm telling him a story. He's telling me a story about when he met Wu-Tang. This is before, obviously, you know, him and Wu-Tang get into it and they kind of punch on him. So I'm telling, he like, you don't know what it feels like, Glasses. He's telling me what it was like where he felt he was disappointed in meeting some member of Wu-Tang. I forgot exactly the person. I'm sure it's out there. You can find it. And I'm telling him, I'm like, Joe, that's normal. Like, I remember I met Ice Cube at a record store signing in Watts. And I explained to him the story where Cube was doing his signing and he didn't feel as comfortable. Now, I don't know why. He could have been sick. I don't know. Like, and I'm still telling you my perspective. I don't know. But I said, like, this is the person who I grew up kind of looking up to as the ultimate kind of man. And it just felt like, because he didn't react the way I wanted to, and him come meet all these OGs who really was his fans, like I was like, man, I think I saw Cube scared. Like I said it. I was like, yeah, he just kind of seemed scared. Anyway, they take that clip and they chop it up and all of the blogs go crazy with it. Again, it's 2011, so shit is hidden. So Cube comes out and he like, nigga, I'm not scared of no Glasses Malone and fuck that nigga. And down. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So again, this is all on top of this whole New West thing where they all Cubed and already is looking crazy. You know what I mean? It's just been crazy. There's Cube got songs this in the New West, like it's crazy. So, but in my mind, I never in my life felt like I was beefing with Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, or I know Dr. Dre. I knew Dr. Dre before I even got serious about rap. Like or MC8. Like I knew MC8 because he messed with the homie Bone. I knew Chill because Chill and them gave me my first single, 200, that blew up. So I never had a problem. I've been buying these dudes' records and listening to their music my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So,
how are you and Cube? Like, are you guys cool? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we cool now.
If you know each other. Like, I don't know how.
It got so crazy, bro. It got so crazy because this is the real story, how we kind of got to a place where we settled it. And rest in peace to Crazy Tunes. I don't think I ever told this story publicly, but this is the story. So all this talking. So they would ask me, Cube and already put out these diss records. If you never heard them, Drink the Kool-Aid, No Country for Young Men. It's some songs, and he say some shit like, even when he disses me on the song, he like, you Bobby Boucher, something. And it's like, Cube knows my alter ego, the Water Boy. Like, that was everything to me. Like, how could I even manifest a diss? I'm more impressed that Cube knows who I am. Mind you, I'm a full 7th Street Watch Crip nigga. Like, but I'm like, this is Ice Cube. Cause like I've been buying his movies, cause watching, like, nigga, what? Like this Cube. Yeah. Like, nigga, I formed my style after your style. Sure, but again,
that's funny.
If he hears this, he can go look through the interviews, because I've never in my life said fuck Ice Cube or this Ice Cube. It just sound weird.
Yeah.
And even though it don't even matter that I'm with Mac 10 at the time, and you know they got their issue where they not talking. I don't have a song saying fuck Ice Cube or ever saying that. But again, it's this energy, like that's what I'm saying. And I'm like, yeah, bro. My homies even say that, like, man, Glass, you had a problem. I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, I don't have no song said fuck Snoop Dogg. Like, that shit sounds stupid. I don't know him. All I know is I'm a fan of their music, cuz.
Sure.
You feel me? So, and I got you. So just give me a second. Let me just work through all this shit. So this is how me and this Cube shit come to a head. So I have a show because I have the #1 record in this town. It's in Indiana. I got the #1 song in there. Haters is the #1 song. Or Sun Come Up, I Get Dope. One of them songs is the #1 song at the time in Indiana. It's a town in Indiana. So the radio station booked me for a car show. So I go to do a car show. Now, outside, the car show is where it's at. But inside, it's in front of a club. Almost look like a barn style of club in Indiana. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Oh. That's the name of the town. Matter of fact, I used to know I knew who the dude name was. That was actually the PD.
Yeah, I think that's my old roommate in college. Who was this girl on the track team. She stayed with me for like half a year. She was from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah, so Fort Wayne is one of those kind of small, big towns. It's like a town that means something.
260.
Right? So Yeah, good point, D. Josh. He said, so after 10 years, they ain't forget. They forgot. No, that's the point. They ain't forgot about me, right? So fast forward, right? So
is that Dennis Johnson from the Celtics? Wasn't he number 3?
No, that's not. Dennis Johnson died. Rest his soul.
Oh, you're right.
DJ from Compton, too. Shout out to DJ. Top 10 point guard all time. I don't care what nobody say. We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Fast forward. So we in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They booked me for the car show outside. The outside car show is the parking lot of a club. That night, they have a club going, and they have Ice Cube performing. I didn't know. So we fly into town, right? I go do my sound check. It's me and DJ Head and the homie Quiz. Shout out to Head because Head was there. And we was with a record indie from Universal, a girl. So I'm doing my sound check, and we finna go back to the hotel to chill out and get, till it's time to do the car show. Fast forward, I'm walking back to the van, and I hear, like, faintly, skip, yay, like music. And I hear somebody checking the mic. This is me outside hearing a sound check inside the club. Yeah, my name glasses because I can't see, but my fucking ears is top tier at this point in my life. You know what I'm saying? My ears is crazy. So I hear it. I'm like, is that these niggas sound checking in there? So I'm like, damn. So I'm like, I tell the promoter, I said, hey, what's going on later? He's like, oh, we got a concert. I'm like, oh, yeah? They say they're acting, they're sound checking. It's a white man, so he don't quite tell me who it is, but I know who it is. So I'm like, could y'all give us a tour of the club? They said, okay. Now, this is raggedy because I did do that. It was raggedy. I did do that. I didn't tell nobody what I thought or what I felt. I just knew I needed to get in there because I always said, like, look, man, I'm not finna argue. I love Dub C. The Shadiest One is my favorite album of all time. Like, I'm not finna argue with y'all over records. I'm not finna dish y'all the interviews because when I see y'all, we get address it and get to whatever it got to be. That's just the nigga I was. That's how I am to this day. Like, I'm not going to do too much of that with you if I could see you. If I could see you, nigga, I'm going to see you. So the man walk us in, Head like, okay, so we all walking in. I'm getting closer and closer. Nigga is Dub C sound checking. So Head figures out what I know. He like, oh shit. He know. And he see me going. So I walk right past Cube. So I'm like, what up, cuz? And I know Cube's son see me like, this nigga is right here. So I stood in front of the stage, cuz, probably about a good 20 feet back while cuz and Tunes is sound checking. Rest in peace to Tunes. And they checking, and them niggas looking, and I'm standing in front of the stage like, what's up, cuz? Them niggas looking, they like, glasses? Tunes come from behind the DJ booth, hop down, Dub hop down. Now I'm looking for the Q. I'm like, what's up, man? You niggas been talking about me. You feel me? Fuck that. What's happening, cuz? Like, let's get these shits right now. That's where my mind was at. So, nigga, Tune was saying something. I'm like, what's happening? Cuz y'all niggas been talking about me and all that. He's like, nigga, ain't nobody worried about you, nigga. It's whatever. I'm like, whatever, cuz, we can get out right now. So cuz is coming around Dub to get at me. So I'm finna squabble Crazy Tunes. This is Crazy Tunes. Cuz, like, what the fuck? Why am I about to squabble like one of my favorite niggas? I don't even know what's wrong, cuz, but at this point, the crip is just coming out. Like, I'm like, cuz, whatever, cuz, like, let's get it. That nigga Dub pushed me. This is how strong cuz is. He pushed Tunes back. Tunes fly back. He pushed me into the kitchen, which is behind me. What the fuck? So Dub like, Glasses, man, what's your motherfucking problem? Nigga, I ain't got no problem, cuz y'all niggas getting at me foul and shit. He like, nigga, you leading the movement, nigga. You told this story. You done called this nigga. You just said this nigga scared and da. And I'm like, cuz, I'm just telling the story. Like, Glasses, this nigga's lives. And you just saying shit and you not thinking about it. So he started just talking to me, cuz, and Tunes like, yeah, nigga, you keep trying to bring the streets to this shit. I'm like, nigga, I thought this was the streets. And they like, nigga, this is a business. Nigga, you get paid. You got a check. Nigga, they almost gave you $1 million. And cuz, they just kept talking to me, cuz. And I went from 6'3" to 6 foot to 5'7" to 5'4" to 4'9" to 3'6". By the time that conversation was over, cuz Dub made me feel like a toddler. And I mean, he wasn't like insulting me. He wasn't calling me out my name. He wasn't doing none of that, cuz. He was just telling me how the business go.
Yeah.
And it made me feel like, fuck, man, like, how didn't I know that this business was a business? You know what I mean? Like, how didn't I know? Like, I didn't know. You know, I'm thinking these niggas is really like, you know, like, I believe the raps. I'm not thinking that they're telling us stories. That's not to say whether it's real or not, but they are professionals. And Dub was like, you got to be a professional, cuz. And I was like, fuck. And he was like, look, man, I'm finna settle shit with Cube. That nigga called Cube. He's like, Cube, I got this nigga glass right now. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, man, I had to check this nigga, man. I had to get at this young nigga, man, and tell him, man, y'all niggas need to go ahead and get this shit worked out. He's like, all right, Dub, just whatever you say, dog, you know, it's cool. You know, set it up and da-da-da. And they was like, all right, glasses. So they talk, and he's like, look, nigga, after y'all show, after our show, after your show, nigga, come, we gonna meet up tonight. Nigga, we gonna talk and get this shit worked out. I felt so little that I didn't even go back to the meeting.
Oh, for real?
I swear to God, I did my show.
So you got these two poor guys sitting in some diner in Indiana waiting around, and you ghosted them out after all that shit. First you called them out, then you ghosted them out?
Man, it was bad, cuz I felt so stupid and little and ignorant. Like, I didn't know. So I talked to Dub.
C on here, man. Dub, as you know, like my two most underrated favorites, like of all time of in LA ever, is Tash and Dub. Like, as far as like guys who should have gotten way more acclaim.
And I got Tash on the song too, so you're gonna love it. I'm gonna send it to you.
This is terrific.
Right? So yeah, but we definitely got to get Dub on this platform because he could tell you the conversation, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward, right? So I'm like, damn, cuz he's like, so we talked later, and I didn't go because I just felt so stupid. So I know it's over. He like, look, man, we talk. He's like, man, Cube ain't tripping. He say, you know, long as it ain't no, you know, it ain't no problem. So fast forward, this is about 10 months later. Now, I really ain't said nothing else about it because I'm over it. Like, my whole mind is fucked up, whatever. I go to a radio room for the Grammys. Right? The Grammy, so a radio room is when all the different people from all the different radio stations and media come to LA because they're doing the Grammys, and they set up a room for all of the stars to walk through and do press. It's just a room full of different media outlets, radio station, television stations, magazines, and you sit down with each of them and you get press all over the country, all over the world. It's kind of dope. I mean, so I go there, I take Pun. This is Pun, fresh in the business. You know what I mean? Like, I knew he had all the talent in the world, but he's fresh in the business. He a crib like me. So, like, you know, we on time, but we not tripping. Like, I've been in the business now 5 years. So I feel like I kind of know what's going on. You know what I mean? So we walking in, everybody talking to us. And then, like, all of a sudden, everything just get quiet. Like, it got kind of weirdly quiet. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why everybody it just got quiet. Like a whole loom came over the room. Cube and them walk in. So people know that I'm here and they see Cube walking in. So mind you, they don't know what happened in Indiana because I'm not that kind of nigga. Like, I'm not, no matter who I had a problem with, I don't really get on the internet and talk about it. Like, because I'm going to see you and we're going to get to the problem. You know what I mean? I'm trying to fight anyway. I'm trying to do it anyway. So they don't know that we solved the problem already. Like, whatever the problem could have been, it was already solved. Because I didn't go do interviews like, yeah, everything is cool with me and Q. Q followed me. Q would be watching this. He's on Twitter. He follows me on Twitter. We talk. So, you know what I mean? Like, nobody knows we already had settled whatever differences that people thought it could have been, but because I didn't go say nothing and he didn't say nothing. So he comes in, but everybody know that there was supposed to be a problem, right? So I'm like, why is that? And then it hit me like, oh, they think it's a problem with me and Cuz and we in LA. So I'm like, man, I'm not even getting into it. I'm just doing my radio run. So it is, you could tell, like, it's to people, it's attention. They're acting like there's attention in the room.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm just trying to get this shit done and leave. I'm really embarrassed. I don't even want to face these niggas because I really feel crazy because it's like, bro, I really never diss you. I don't have no songs dissing you. I'm really a fan. This is stupid. This ain't gonna work out. I like, how do I even write a diss record against you? I don't even know you, nigga. Nor do I have a problem with you. Nor if I write a diss record, it's gonna sound like you rapping, cuz. Like the fuck, this stupid. It's like a son fighting his father. It's just dumb at a certain place.
Sure.
Like you taught me all the moves. I'm gonna hit you back with your moves. It's stupid. So, nigga, we get to that point, right? All right. Kibo come up. Now, mind you, it was some shit at the time because I remember Kibo talked to one of my older homie Boo, and it was finna be some shit then. But again, it was never could really be no shit because it wasn't no shit. Like I'm not finna entertain dissing Cube, Ice Cube in the rap battle. Like this is fucking Ice Cube. This is stupid. So Kibo walk up, he like, Glass, man, I gotta get you a Cube, man. Cube's in. Y'all niggas need to talk. You know, I'm like, yeah, I know, man. Let's do it another time. He's like, nah, let's do it here. We together right now. I'm like, man, I don't want to do it in front of all these people because I really don't have nothing to say. He like, man, come on, Glass, So he walk off. I tell Point, I say, man, we gonna sneak out on them niggas, man. I'm not finna do this because I already feel dumb. Like I feel
you ghosted him twice.
I'm trying to ghost him again because it's like, bro, because now it's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Because it's stupid. It's like, bro, like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck?
Oh shit.
Kibo come back, give us some t-shirts, and everybody's watching. Crip gang, everybody watching. So I'm like, man, I'm not finna do this. Pun like, man, why don't you talk to me? I said, man, I'll talk to that nigga another time when it ain't a bunch of people around because it's really stupid. Kibo come back, give us some shirts. Kibo.
Wait, so he gave you Ice Cube shirts?
So Kibo is a triple OG from 111. Kibo is Pinky's driver in Friday.
Oh, okay.
Like, but he like a triple OG nigga from 111. He like a real respect.
Was he like one of the guys in the van on Friday in the alley? Because it was Dub C who jumped out and sprayed down the roof.
Not the first Friday. He's in the
I know what you mean. I was like,
oh no,
wasn't it Dub C who jumped out of the van?
Yeah, that was Dub in an original Friday.
Yeah.
Okay,
I figured he'd be one of the people in the van too.
No, so Kibo is Pinky's driver when Pinky be like, you made me spill yak on his suit. So, but Kibo's like this super fly ass nigga, build dope cars, cuz. Just like this super triple OG nigga from 111. Like, I have respect for Cuz before I even met him. His name always meant something, solid nigga. So he's trying to get me to talk to this nigga, and I'm like, man, I don't want to talk. More because I'm embarrassed. Like, I really feel stupid. And I'm really mad because I felt like niggas didn't educate me on what's happening. So, fast forward, I'm trying to get out the door. I did all my radio shit. I just stopped at all these booths. It's time for me to get up out of here. So I'm trying to slide out. I see Kibo working Cube through the rows to catch me at the door. So I'm trying to wait till he ain't looking. Cuz, look away, cuz, and I start making my way to the door, me and Pun. Them niggas catch us at the door. He said, yeah, I had to get y'all together. The whole radio room, cuz, is looking at us. The whole radio, cuz, it's 200 people, cuz, looking at us. It's 200 people, cuz, just staring at us. And I'm like, look, big dog, I don't really know. He was like, yeah, I just felt like, you know, maybe Mac told you. I said, look, I don't got no songs dissing you, big dog. Like, this stupid. Like, I grew up listening to your music. You influenced my style. Like, I don't even know you. How could I make a record dissing you? I said, our movement was because we felt like we was by ourselves. That's it. We made our movement. I said, yeah, I get it with some people that was anti-y'all that came about. I said, but that wasn't the foundation of the movement. The movement was just us embracing each other. Like, yeah, G, like, you know, it don't got to be. I'm like, it ain't like that. Like, I can't, or like, I could never beef with you, bro. Like, you created my style. You know what I'm saying? This is stupid. And you know, we shook hands, whatever. Dapper was like, all right, we're going to get up for sure. And then I got on. Right. But like, I didn't like all that stupid ass attention because I really didn't have no problem with cuz. Right. So I say all that to say, Suddies, it's like, there's an arrogance when you young and you come in this business. You come in this business thinking you know what to do. You come in this business thinking you have everything it takes to make it happen. Lord knows you get a record deal that's worth millions of dollars.
Is there another component of that where, and you kind of see it, some of that's to do with age, some of that's to do with a lot of various stuff as well, but you see like young dudes that are like really street guys that are rappers, they might come in and be like, they still got thick street residue on them, and some of these older people been, you know, wealthy and successful for too fucking long or whatever. So the attitudes and perspectives are changed. So and on top of being young and exuberant or whatever, you also think you hard as fuck in the room. I'm not saying you personally specifically, but like, you know, you see young guys who just get on and they still doing crazy stuff or whatever the hell. They got a lot of bravado, a lot of attitude and that kind of thing. And it really becomes a little blurrier as to, you know, what exactly their agenda is sometimes.
I mean, again, it is the same arrogance where you feel like you hella street, but I can't believe I'm doing this, but like defending them, but I don't think they quite know that they need to teach you something. And I don't think just because they successful means that they are naturally teachers.
Sure.
Just because MC8 is hella successful, it doesn't make him a teacher.
Yeah, I mean, especially in something like this. I mean, like, it's the arts. Like, it's all je ne sais quoi. Most of it is you either got it or you don't. You can't teach it. You got it or you don't. You know, there's a lot of business to it, but like,
no. There is a lot to teach, but you gotta, like, being a teacher, like, people get taught how to teach.
Sure.
Just because you did something don't mean you could teach people how to do it. Like that's why some of the best professional athletes make some of the worst coaches.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where I was going. Like, do you think that and it can be either or, you know, there's a lot of spectrum to it, but in a rap, you could be a type of artist and you're an extremely talented artist, and other people, because you're such a like whale of just money, like you know, like the little fish that hang out by the sharks or whatever the hell, where you just get such an apparatus around you that does all the business and all the whatever shit that some people just have a pay. Just go be artsy you and make the records and do that, whatever the hell. We're gonna make our $50 million off of you. We don't care. We'll do everything, and they don't have to learn that much. They just have to do their thing. Or is that not quite so much?
Yes and no. Like all of these things are true, but you know what the problem with the New West was, and even the driving force of the attitude, and I could tell you in 2024 as I got older, is we didn't know the right questions to ask.
Sure.
Like, I'm naturally a teacher, because like I've been teaching my whole life, but that don't mean MC8 just because he's successful as a teacher. But there are things to know. Like, there are things to know, bro. Like, yes, there's a natural element to this business, and you know, people say a million things. It ain't only one way to skin a cat. Yes, there is only one way to skin a cat. You got to take his skin off. So yeah, you might use different types of knives and shit, but there's only one way to skin a cat. You know what I mean? Sure. It really is. But that's like, so you saying the younger dudes don't want to embrace the wisdom from the older generation? No, it's not. They don't want to. They don't know that there's something to know.
Yeah, that's to me, like you said, you don't know the right questions to ask. Like in football terms, once you have the right questions, you're in the red zone.
Yes.
You know, the more you know, you don't know. Like
that's where I'm at now. Where I'm at now, like the success that I'm about to experience next year is because I got the wisdom. So now the questions are different because I actually took time to know something. Listen, hip hop has never just been a young man's sport. That's just this really weird expression that people have some reason carry. The culture of it is driven by youth, but then the business of the record business, Sylvia Robinson, when she was making records for, you know, a 22-year-old Melly Mel or 21-year-old or 22-year-old or 20-year-old or 19-year-old hip hop, what's the name of that group? The original first record. Yeah, Sugar Hill. They were 20 and 19 and 21, but Sylvia Robinson was 40. Sure. She produced, you know, the Sugar Hill record. She produced The Message. You know, Larry Smith is smart and older. Dr. Dre doesn't produce Snoop Dogg until he's 30. So it's always been a combination of the knowledge of music. Rapper's Delight. Good looking out, name brand. Rapper's Delight, right? There's always been a combination of you know, experience with youth, the energy of youth, the knowledge and experience of the wise with the cultural, relevance and energy of the youth. That's always been the success of hip hop as the record business. So I don't think it's young people don't want to embrace the wisdom of the older generation. I don't think they know they need it. You don't know you need it. You don't know that hip hop or the record business side of hip hop, there's something to know. You don't know that. Yeah. You just feel like I'm dope. I got something to say, cuz, and I'm for real, and that's enough. You don't think about that there is a business, in Santa Monica called Interscope that got 6 floors of people that make the Chronic and Doggy Style sell the way they sell. You don't think of it like that. You like, okay, you don't think of records. So it's like, you don't know there's something to know. So to his point, he was like, well, it's almost like he was saying that he felt the older generation needed to embrace the youth more. And it's like, no, it's 2 people that got to know that together they can make history. It's 2 people, it's an elder and a young person that got to know together they can change the course of what's happening. That's what it's always been. You don't get the greatest hip hop artist of all time, Snoop Dogg, if Dre is not 30 years old at this point.
Sure.
The things he knows about music, the things he knows about records, the experience, combined with the cultural renaissance and the energy of a prime Snoop Dogg. You don't get it. It don't work. That's why it works the way it worked. That's why it works. So it's 2 people that got to understand that each person possesses a value. They got to know that. So that's what I was saying to him. It's like you both have to know that you have a value for each other. If when I was young, I would have loved to work with, I did work with Battle Cat. It became one of my most important songs. DJ Toomp, who at that time probably was 35, 36 years old, maybe even closer to 40. DJ Toomp gave me my first hit record, in 2007 and 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, I became instrumental in helping my team understand how to make it with that good. Again, it's a combination of knowledge, right? History and knowledge and cultural renaissance. It's both. Like, I'm helping the homie White Dog. Like, there is a arrogance when you young and you feel like you know it. But then there is also, you got to be smart and realize somebody experienced it. And it ain't easy. It ain't easy. You know what I mean? You gotta peel. I tell another thing I realized too, in the streets, gangbanging and hustling, ego and pride are your most prized possessions. They how you earn, they how you avoid problems. Everything about what people think about you, the reputation that you carry is everything. I could tell you one thing, if you're a young artist in the business, that is the one thing you don't need.
And I think also, like in a street environment, if you're getting knowledge from older people with a lot of experience, it's probably more pitfall oriented knowledge than rather like a lot of guys you could point to easily that did it really big at that level, didn't have a problem, made it out clean, and are like, on the golf course in Palm Springs smoking a cigar. Like, let me tell you how to do this. It's probably not quite so much that as it is like, look, it's all good until you make this mistake. Don't make this mistake. And at that point, sometimes you look at people who failed. There's always that tendency. Like, you hear like with kids with parents, these parents, don't drink and do drugs. Well, you drank and did drugs when you were in high school. It doesn't mean it was a good idea.
Well, I mean, even in the streets, some people like genius. Like my big homie Plug, Boo, man, them niggas is geniuses. You know what I mean? So it ain't about losing as much as they've tried so many different ways.
Sure.
But again, like I say, the pride and ego part of the business, you know what I'm saying, that you need in the streets, you don't need that in hip hop. Sure. You got to leave that there. Because that's the biggest thing, Sud, is that the issue is you have to understand that you don't need that in the business. You actually really need to get with all of these people and learn what they know. Like that's the catch because they all know some shit. Hence today, like even Snoop and Dre and them now to deal with them, to go deal with them now was like the same thing. Like I'm always still a student. I'm still gonna be able to pass information to young homies, whoever that want to rap, you know what I'm saying, and all of the above. Shout out to Real Suddies. Again, No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon Pacific Standard Time. Click the thumbs up button. Let everybody know you here. If you on Twitter, retweet this. Let everybody know. Hop on. Feel me? We cooking, going to work. Look in the description. Click the link to the No Ceilings podcast, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast. Executive produced by Charlamagne the God, Black Effects Network, iHeart. Real Suddies. I was speaking more towards the formula needs to change, not necessarily the younger generation not listening to the older generation. I don't think it's the younger generation not listening to the older generation. I don't think people realize, Suddies, there's something to know.
Yeah, there's not really a dialogue at all.
Yes, it's not something to know. The problem is they don't realize it's something to know. Most people come into this business thinking it's art. So it's like whatever works. They forget that the record business is not a business of art. It's a business of records. And records get real scientific. So that's the point that's not talked about. The science of a record. Everybody naturally can paint. And yeah, you can improve on being a dope painter. You know what I mean? You can learn some stuff, but art is art. But the science of records is where all of those guys understand.
And here's a great example. This is a great carryover from what we were talking about 2 days ago. This is the difference between Jake Paul as a boxer and every other boxer who's a 10 times better boxer. He's manipulating the business side of the sport better than all the other boxers who are doing better at the boxing side of the sport.
He definitely is another part of the business, and it's a business. So
yeah,
the record part of the business is
there's boxing and there's selling fights. Yeah, there's there's rapping and there's selling records.
It's science and records. You know what I'm saying? It's science and boxing. It's science. And there's a natural element where RJ could come in, right? I remember him coming in and he could be a cultural renaissance on his own with his style. Right. But then there is a science about records. There's a science about this business that if you don't quite know it, you know what I mean? You will never maximize potential. You'll never maximize possibility. Joe Moses, different people to me that are like cultural renaissance on their own. Like them dudes are like culturally incredible. Nothing is more hip hop than some of them dudes. But you got to do the record side of the business. Shout out to Unknown Raider Guy. That is where Jake Paul messed up. He said his dream is to become a champion. That will never happen with the route he's taking. That's because that's not his goal to be a champion. His goal is being achieved every time he goes to the bank account. He's selling you the marketing of him wanting to be a champion to keep driving your hate. He knows the route to become a boxing world champion. He knows it. It's obvious. But again, he's marketing to you that to drive your hate for him, to make you watch him. Everything Jake Paul sells is the same thing Floyd Mayweather sold. You just want to see him lose. So he keeps putting himself in the ring with the least, the lesser gamble of beating him that you think could beat him. That's what he's selling you. He's selling you who you think could beat him, and he's getting in the ring with them. And he's making educated guesses on it every time. So the confusion is that you really believe that he thinks his goal is to be a champion. That's just to market. It's like when a rapper markets independent, even though they signed to a record label.
Sure. I mean, and that's like, there's also an element to it. I don't know what it is. We live in an era that has just got a hard on for nostalgia like I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But people, the Joe viewer, gets more personal gratification out of seeing, hypothetically, Mike Tyson, with whom they have an emotional connection, knock out Jake Paul than if we put in Coyote, the dude we were talking about the other day that no one knows by and large, who's not like way into boxing, just roll up and just lay his ass out. You know what I mean? Like people don't get the same gratification out of that. So they're willing to pay more to see that opportunity if it were to
it's not even just nostalgia. Like it's who do people know and think could knock you out? Because they have to know you.
Sure.
So like His goal is to make the educated guess. And just like when it comes to West Coast hip hop, I do think impact matters. But I think how you get back to that is nothing to get back to. Like, if there was a problem with West Coast hip hop, is our culture is revered all around the world. Our culture is studied. Everybody knows who we are. We're not presenting anything new culturally. You know what I'm saying? We're not presenting anything new culturally. There's nothing new culturally happening as a movement on the West Coast that's worth talking about. Like, everybody knows who we are. Everybody, most people can name a Crip that they know. Most people can name a Blood. Most people can name popular people from this culture. There's films. There have been films about West Coast street urban culture now for almost 40 years. Colors is loosely on it. Like, that's how long Hollywood has been showcasing our lives and the way we live on the West. So it's just stale. That's it. It's just stale. It's nothing wrong. It's not about music. Like, this is the thing about hip hop. Hip hop is not music first. Hip hop is culture first, then music. And this is why the arguments happen all the time on social media, because people didn't do their studies. Everybody black street, they feel entitled to hip hop, but they don't quite understand what's going on or the business itself of it. They just feel like it's something innately. Like, most people think black people can play basketball. Most you niggas can't play basketball. But again, that's what people
compared to most of us.
Yeah, but I'm saying probably not, even still. But again, it's like, these are the things that we feel like innately we understand, and we don't. We don't take the time to understand them. So hip hop is culture first, music second. And that's the trick. Everybody is spoiled with West Coast street urban culture. Everybody's spoiled. They so spoiled, bro, that now there's gangs, Crips and Blood gangs in everybody's town.
Yeah.
Like, Crips and Bloods gangs in everybody's town. There's like, every town got Crips and Bloods. There are kids who grew up in this world, teenagers, maybe even 20, that didn't know gangbanging started on the West Coast. There are people who grow up in this world that didn't know, hip hop started in New York. That's how spoiled people are with West Coast culture. Most people don't realize Kentucky Fried Chicken is an Americanized version of soul food, a mainstream pop version of soul food. They don't know that. They just think that's soul food. Most people think Taco Bell is Mexican food. People don't know, man. And you got to understand why they wouldn't know, because they just don't know. Straight up, bro. They don't fucking know. And they don't got time to know. And why the fuck should they know? You can't even get mad that people don't know or don't care. Why should they? What the fuck do it got to do with their life?
Nah, that's true. I mean, you go through a nightclub, everybody, a song drops, people start dancing. No one cares, about the backstory at that point. They having a drink and dance, have a good time, whatever the genre of music is, or the nightclub for that matter.
Yeah. So it's like, it's like the West Coast has been producing legendary hip hop acts since '85, since Ice-T, since Too Short. That's 83, that's 84 and 85. Right? Like, shit. The last one is probably Kendrick or Tyler. Kendrick is 2011. Good Kid, Mad City, I think it's 11 or 12. Tyler is probably 13, 14. When his first debut album come out. Like, Doja Cat is probably 16, 17. I mean, goddamn, you can't have the ball all the time, bro. You cannot have the ball all the time, bro. Everybody know us. Everybody knows us. We are not the belle of the ball anymore. Culturally, West Coast street urban culture is not the belle of the ball anymore, bro. We're trying to learn about other shit that we don't know about. People don't care to keep learning. Their desire is not to take a deep dive into who the founder of Crips was. That's not their job. They from another town. They got to figure out their own shit culturally. Most people don't even, shit, you could ask most people right now. Ask some of your homeboys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon, Pacific Standard Time. Click that thumbs up button. Ask some of your homies that gangbang. If you gangbang in this chat, ask some of your homies that gangbang. 99% of them niggas don't know who started their neighborhood. 99% don't know the niggas who started their gang. Let alone to know who started all this other shit. Don't nobody got time for that. They're not looking for depth. That was the mistake I made with Tupac Must Die. I thought people were looking for depth into culture. They not. Most people not looking for the best soul food restaurant. They looking for the cheapest, most convenient soul food. That's why they go to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Or in other cases, they're looking for the restaurant that's got the most cachet to take the selfie at. People don't come here and go to Eloise and Ernestine's in Miami. They come here and go to the Licking and take a picture because they're so original for going to the. I don't know what the fuck they want to go to DJ Khaled for, but they sure as shit do.
Shout out to Name Brand. That's why Drake works. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because he covers the surface of all culture, which is mainstream.
Mm-hmm. And he got in with Baby and them at the right time when they knew the shit because they were 45 fucking years old.
Exactly. It's a great point. Fucking tune was probably 34 or something at the time. Yeah, so they're not digging deep into the cultures. You know what I mean? Shout out to Unknown Raider Guy. Hey, Glasses, speaking of Tupac Must Die, did you really film the video at MGM? I did everything true to location, Unknown Raider Guy. I went and shot it inside the MGM. I went and shot it right outside of it. I shot it all true to location, everything true to location. I went to the Lakewood Mall for the flashback. That's the actual mall. So, again, that's one of them things that I understood as an artist that I am great at. But I also understood culturally I just learned why people don't appreciate it. They're not into it that deep. That's why people got so mad about Tupac Must Die. In their mind, they didn't hear the nuance that I'm speaking of. They just heard Glasses think it's okay that this nigga killed Tupac. That's all they heard. That's highlighted and condensed. Condensed and heightened, that's what they think it means. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Hip hop is, again, it's for people to make sense out of their own life. Not about your life. It's so they can make sense out of their own life. How do they use this for their own life? And most people ain't gonna run into gangbangers and, and they friends ain't finna jump a gangbanger. That story means nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no meaning to them at all. But honestly, I think the only thing that's wrong with West Coast hip hop is the whole world is spoiled by our culture already. Our forefathers of this hip hop thing did such a fantastic job that there is really nothing to expose. So you really just playing a game where culturally you don't have anything much you don't have much things to offer that's new.
Yeah. And I think that's also like what we talked about when we go to Atlanta. Like there is a certain aspect to just LA's culture when you're there that is going to, and you could define it any way you want to. I'll say like it's going to remain true to itself, and there's going to be a certain, I don't know what the appropriate word is, but it doesn't just morph and evolve into anything at any time. It stays largely centered around its base, and opposed to, like, by comparison, Atlanta that will morph and change into really anything. We say,
but that's not even true. That's overstated, right? Let me get to this. Shout out to Beezy. Yeah, from afar, surface level, it looked like he was happy about Pac dying when that song came out. And that's my point, because it takes a different type of human to understand nuance of something else outside of them. That's not a standard thing. I'm starting to realize. Again, it goes back to that book that I've been raving about on this podcast, The Anatomy of a Story by John Truby, where he talks about that. That's what they feel like. Shout out to Madon Kim. It's my first time seeing you. How you diss Pac, then wonder why the West Coast is dead. You get it? Like, it's not his fault. It's not his fault that he couldn't, like, it's not your fault, Madon, you couldn't dissect the nuance of me explaining street urban culture from the West and how we make sense out of the way we live versus you just thinking I diss Pac. I couldn't even be upset at that. You know what I'm saying? It don't make, like, I get it now. Like, I get where I went wrong. I went wrong because I tried to give you something that you could never understand or ask for. It's way past your, you know what I mean? Like, you got too much shit in your own life to be worried about me giving you nuances of what's going on in our lives. You just want the heightened and condensed version of how we live to make sense for your own mind. But it's weird, like, and I don't mean this as an insult, bro. It's weird that, you know what I mean, people think somebody like me who, if you hear any of my music, I have all Tupac DNA in my music and I talk about him with a different reverence, that people could even think I would diss Pac. But it's not just you. Corrupt thought I diss Pac. Like, that nigga was cussing me out when he first heard the song. I was like, bro, why the fuck would you think I would diss Tupac? Dr. Dre sat me down at the studio, was cussing me out because he thought I dissed Tupac. And I'm like, cuz you've been knowing me since I was a kid. Like, this nigga knew me, not a kid. I was 22 when I met Dr. Dre. Nigga, why would you think I would diss Tupac? How did you look at that and think, knowing me, you didn't talk to me all these times and think to yourself, Glasses would insult Tupac? That's just crazy.
But you're the one who didn't put the parentheses on that. If you put Tupac must die, the Baby Lane story, no one had a question.
That's what it says.
It says that?
Yes.
Where?
On the YouTube. Straight up.
In the video or on the
on the video.
I mean on the title.
On the title, it says that.
I'll pull this up right now.
On the title, it says that. No lie, dog. No lie. It says that. It's not none of that. I'm telling you, fucking John Truby is a genius, bro. John Truby is a genius. And I finally got it. It was like, oh, they not even hearing all of this shit. They just not even hearing all this shit. They not even reading it. They just, again, people got their own lives to live. They got their own lives to live, bro. They don't got time for nuance. You know what I'm saying? That just ain't the thing. Shout out to the homie Revenge. Name the classic album since 2005 from West Coast hip hop. It's just counting on one hand. Musically, the South guy, the West Coast artists don't make classics, just K-Dot. You don't need new. Listen. The problem is, first, that's just not true. Atlanta is going through the same thing California is going through. Georgia is going through it. They haven't broken a new act in probably 5 or 6 years because we are spoiled by Georgia culture. We know everything about their streets culturally. We know what they into. We know how they hustle. We know everything about what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? So that's normal for any. New York is going through the same thing. Anywhere where hip hop has been predominantly, and just, it's been so much West Coast, whether it's the Bay Area or Southern California culturally, that you don't need new stuff from us anymore. You just don't. And you don't care about revisiting the stuff we already showed you at this point. You spoiled by it. You've had access to it a million times. So it's not about, do they make classic album? Can culturally it create a new space? Like, do you really think it's just music? And it's more than music.
I think that's really true to a large degree. Like, I don't get the sense that the genre in general is illuminating cities and culture the way it used to. I could be tripping, but it's like, I can't think of a city that, like you said the same thing about Miami. You could say the same thing about New Orleans. They had windows. They were putting out a bunch of stuff. They were shining a light on, hey, this is how it really goes on here. You know what I mean? It's different here than there. You can kind of see it, and it's really interesting. I don't see a lot. I don't really see it unless it's just like, to me, like, there's a lot of people coming out of Memphis, but I don't necessarily think that there's a lot of Memphis coming out of them, if that makes any sense.
But that's my point. That's also why, if you look, like, Memphis, like, you got to look at Southern California as a cultural movement. And you're talking about Ice-T, Eazy-E, NWA, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. Like, think about how many legendary acts were in the first 7 or in the first 10 years.
Sure.
Like, huge legendary acts. Shout out to groups like A-Ball and MJG, right? Them guys who really laid the foundation down for Memphis, but you know, they don't have the same stardom as an Ice Cube or a Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
We got guys that have the same stardom. Ice-T is probably as big of a star as Cube. Like, he's probably as famous, to maybe not quite, but he's on the same level as
it's close.
As Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube. Dog is fucking Ice-T.
Very, very true.
He is famous probably as Tupac is probably as famous. The first 10 years of West Coast hip hop, too short. Yeah. Like, this is crazy. Like, we got 10 people in the first 10 years. Memphis don't even have one person as famous as Ice-T. Memphis hip hop. That's the first guy. The first. Lord knows a Snoop Dogg or a Ice Cube. Memphis hip hop, for as great culturally as it is, they don't have one star as famous and as popular as Ice-T.
Sure, no, I get that. I'm just saying, like, you know, I listened to, like, say, like a Pat or Gotti or something like that. There was more Memphis in that music than now. It's just music that's coming out of Memphis, but there's not a lot of Memphis that's coming out of the music. And I feel like that's true in a lot of parts of the genre right now.
Memphis, right, with Glow. I think the culture of it there, how she enunciates words. But that's my point too, Revenge. I agree. We know the West Coast for classic albums, but not recently. That's not the point. Like, culturally, what's happening is going to be important. Like, right, how new something is culturally to you. Like a Chief Keef first album, right? Finally Famous. Like, that's the beginning of the culture. And then people learning culture. Like, we pick up culture so fast now. Like, man, like, it took years for certain things to be popular when I was growing up. Like, the way we acted, the way we talk, the way New York talk, it took years for it to become popular and become mainstream. When the Chicago dudes start saying, right, they start saying putting ops in packs. They smoking on like the pack of an enemy, right? They saying this person represents weed, and now that they passed away, I'm smoking this person's ashes, right? That's the thought. They were saying that on ESPN in 2016. I first heard it in 2014. They were saying it in 2016. I've heard culture go so fast from ground level to the news in 2 months.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, there's nothing wrong with hip hop on the West Coast. It's just, our culture is mainstream to some degree now. Everybody has a version of our culture in their town. The things that we celebrate that made us, everybody has those things now. Everybody has those things now, bro. Everybody has those things now. We can't even be proud of Crips and Bloods, bro. Everybody got Crips and Bloods. Every town. There is no longer any social currency saying you're a Crip and a Blood. Everybody has those. Everybody has those. It's just where it's at. Culturally, our forefathers did the best job. Like I said, Memphis culture is just as dense and coarse as Los Angeles. Like, they do things a Memphis way. They dance a certain way, they music a certain way, they talk a certain way, they act in a certain way, they dress a certain way. Everything about them is identified. You can see their cars, you can see all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And again, Ice-T is still more famous than everybody from there culturally. That's the first guy from Los Angeles street urban culture. So again, it's one of those things where it's nothing wrong. Goddamn, they already did it. They already did it. It's a conversation of culture, and everybody got our version of their culture in their town. So just being a Crip has no social currency no more. That's like right now, if you come out saying you make drill music, it just probably won't hit the same, because England got a drill music. They don't even got guns, and they have a drill music in England. They call it.
They're using real drills.
They mean they are working on houses, Glasses.
No,
Like
they grab you, they torture you, they drill through your head. Where's the money?
But think about this, right? It's like UK has drill music and they don't have guns. New York is probably the worst town, the worst state in the United States, in the whole union, that are the hardest on guns, and is the least amount of guns probably, and they got drill music. You feel me? So it's one of those things. It's like, you know, the cultural appeal is not there. Shout out to Real Setters who started this conversation, man. I appreciate you being here. No Sinners Live, the lunch hour. We still cooking. We got a little bit more time. As long as Pete ain't tripping, I ain't tripping. Wait a minute. Ain't nobody bought us lunch neither. Don't make me get on here and be begging for y'all for no damn super chats. We talking this shit. Y'all can buy us lunch. I know you sitting on your desk. Click that little cash box under the comments. Buy us some lunch. Don't be like that. This wasn't a convo about numbers only. LA culture impact from West Coast rap on hip hop. Well, that's the point, right? It's like hip hop is culture. So our culture, our street urban culture is over discovered. It's over revealed. So that's driving why the music isn't, we don't have the excitement of who we are. Like a lot of excitement goes into marketing new, right? Outside of that, you have to figure out something else. So it's up to all West Coast artists to you have to figure out how to make it exciting. You got to be on YouTube to do it, Sedis. I'm sorry. You can't do it from Twitter, big dog. We don't got ain't no thing on Twitter. But on the YouTube link, yeah, you could do it. So, Cat, yeah. But yeah, so drill music, but that's the same thing. Like they had a run. You would have to go to the YouTube. So it wouldn't matter which iPhone. You got to do it from. Sherry gonna buy us lunch. Buy us lunch, Sherry. Don't be like that.
Don't be like that.
Yeah, don't be like that, Sherry. Buy us lunch. Shout out to Name Brand. So real artists have no reason to be deep if no one is mining for it. I mean, deep is different, right? Deep don't have to be the way we perceive it, right? It's nuance. It's nuance. It's nuance. You know what I'm saying? Nuance is not necessarily what people really are looking for. You know, people really want their stories heightened and condensed. And you can't be upset at them, bro. Like, you can't be upset at them. Shout out to Sherry. She bought us some lunch. $10. Thank you, Sherry. Thank y'all. That's 2 burgers.
Sherry.
In here. My dog. Pete in Florida, so I don't know how you ain't got up with him.
Huh?
Pete is in Florida. I don't know how you ain't got Sherry in Florida.
That's that lady who moved to Florida. Yeah. I recognize her face now. You pulled her up.
And that's what's wrong. Like, I'm with you, Sedis. I don't think anything is wrong with West Coast hip hop. That's the point. I think everybody would do better. I think younger artists would do better to have the wisdom and the knowledge and experience and the science that the legends, obviously, like, how could you not be better off if you listen to Ice Cube or got an answer out of Ice Cube about something you wanted to know, or Snoop Dogg or Ice-T or Exhibit? You know what I mean? These motherfuckers is millionaires and they've been doing this at this high level. They're platinum acts, you know what I'm saying? Film stars to some degree. All of these guys I named are film stars. And I think the legends could use, especially because they're still releasing music, I think they could use the cultural renaissance and the modern interpretation and energy of a young person. I think everybody could benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody could benefit from it. But they have to make a choice. I'm with you, Sedis. I go find my young homies. I go find the young homies and I go work with them. You know what I mean? Shout out to Joey and Deuce and the younger homies, White Dog, and then my young homie out of Pasadena. I go find the young ones, and I'm going to go see Dre, and I'm going to go see Warren, and I'm going to ask Warren, how do I do this? I told them all to do the same thing. I think it's a value in all of them, but if they don't realize they need each other, and not even need, because a young artist, Joe Moses is fine. YG is fine. You know what I'm saying? Even younger, let's go to Soak City. 310 baby, he's fine. Zoe Sama is fine. Zoe Sama don't have to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? But could he benefit from talking to Glasses? Yes. Because could he benefit from talking to Snoop? Yes. Could he benefit from talking to Mac 10? Hell yeah. But it's up to you to make that decision. Shout out to Sherry. Sherry said, oh, no, I ain't going to just leave y'all with no burger. She got us some fries, too. That's my dog. That's why I let Sherry cuss me out on live, bro.
Damn right. And you keep it up, Sherry. Don't give him no, don't take no shit off nobody.
Yeah, we ain't tripping. Sherry cussing me out. Shout out to Squishy, our #1 supporter in our original. She sent me a bunch of screenshots where she had tweeted us, and I never saw it.
Squishy could cuss us out any day of the week.
Fucking right. And we're going to barbecue for Squishy when we do the No Ceilings barbecue next year. Because we're going to do a No Ceilings barbecue. Y'all going to have to fly in town.
Yeah.
Yep, come fly in town. We're going to do a No Ceilings barbecue. And we're going to make sure we hook up. I got you, Squish. We're going to do some good stuff. Shout out to Real Sudis. I just want to keep the golden age window open. I'm with you, Sudis. And I just think it's hard because we're fighting like a monumental job that Snoop, Ice-T, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, NWA, MCA, Coolio, they did a monumental job. Not to mention we had Hollywood. You know what I mean? We had John Singleton. We had, people like the dude who made Colors. Who directed that? Sean directed that? Somebody directed that. Like we've had like the Hughes brothers. They culturally have revealed West Coast street urban lifestyle to another level. So it's like we are fighting, you know what I mean? Like really great jobs by entertainment giants. Like Snoop is the greatest hip hop artist ever. Like it's great. Like he's done a fantastic job. Cause Dr. Dre, like DJ Quick, fantastic job. So, shit, you gotta be creative. Shout out to the homie Fats. Yes, Sherry from Compton. That is Sherry from Compton. Real Sutter. See, of these guys. We don't, bro. You just gotta do your homework. Shout out to Nick. Man, I appreciate the $5. That's good lunches today. Salute G and the West East Side. That part right there, player. That part right there. Oh, man. I had to tell the homie Sutters because Sutters was like, yeah, he was like, respectfully, I'm from Compton. I'm from Willowbrook and Greenleaf. I'm like, yeah, nigga, I'm from Oleander and Caldwell. Nigga, I went to Kennedy and Walden. People know I'm from Watts, but they don't realize I grew up in Compton the same. So I know. I remember having Toddy T and Spade and NWA and not really tripping off of them being from Compton until Quick. So, we spoiled too because we come up in the fray of it all. Shout out to Don Dove for the $5. Appreciate it, Don. We cooking, we getting to work. Shout out to B. Bray. Snoop was a double agent, getting diddled for the dollar, never standing his own 2 feet, jumping from label to label for protection. Now that's gangster. B. Bray, that's ridiculous. It's a business. That's just, don't be crazy. Like him signing record deals because he don't know how to run a record label is incredible. That's why he's the greatest hip hop act ever.
So he's the LeBron James of hip hop. He's got rings. 3
he got
teams.
Rings everywhere. Yeah, like he's a champion, bro. He's the greatest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody asked a question about Death Row. Let me find that question about Death Row. That was a dope question. Where is it at? Somebody asked me, do I think Death Row can recapture glory? And I'm like, I think Snoop is going the right direction. I think he's finding certain type of R&B acts, and he got some real talent too. He didn't just get popular people. He got people that had these unique sounds. Yeah. And, you look at a couple of acts he got, some of this stuff can happen. I mean, like, yes, I think, and it's weird because that was Suge's vision, Free Pops. Like, Suge he wanted to do R&B because I think one of Suge's greatest influences, I never asked him, I'm asking, we need to get him on here, but
I just saw him do the Francis phone interview.
Yeah, we could probably get him on here.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Big Bro Pops will do it. He ain't tripping. But I'm saying I think Snoop is fulfilling the last legacy that Suge wanted for an R&B. And that's why if you look at him, he's doing the legendary acts, right? He gave you the Eastsiders album, Dog Food, Snoop Dogg album. Trip off this. Death Row Aftermath Interscope is releasing Missionary. That's historical in itself.
Yeah.
That's historical in itself. Much love to Dankster. Shout out Sherry for the major support to the channel. Sherry support me in real life. That's the only reason I let her cuss me out and I never say nothing. Real said this. Call me crazy, but house parties played a big part in developing younger artists and cultivating a fan base. No one owns houses anymore, bro. Great point. And said this. No, he makes a great point. I be telling my homeboys this in the group chat. They didn't piss me off, and I ain't been talking to them because they just stubborn as fuck. But like the West Coast hip hop scene had a foundation where the party, right? So whether it was at a house or at a club, right?
Yeah.
That was the infrastructure on how we broke records. All our records, the core of our sound is rooted in funk. The core.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got 8 who got some different stuff. You got Warren, whose shit could be a little jazzier, but it's still funky. But for the most part, the core of our, sound is funk. So the party was everything. Our party scene kind of died because we adopted. Now, this is my personal thing. And matter of fact, we can hold this for Friday, but I'll just visit it real fast. Why did the party die? Shout out to little bro Dot Kendrick. He dropped Watch the Party Die. Now I think Friday we should talk about why the party is dying.
I have an answer for that myself.
That's going to be great. So we're going to hold it to next week. But I think the party dying is also hurting the West Coast because the core of our sound was rooted in funk. That was the foundation. Now you got to be creative. And remember, Kendrick's sound is not rooted in funk. Tyler's sound is not rooted in funk. No. What's the sister name? She from LA too. She from the Valley. She got to paint the town red. Doja Cat's sound is not rooted in funk. It's not rooted in funk. So where is the West hip hop without funk? So and what's funk without the party?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? What's funk without the party? Shout out to Revenge. Ha. What we say, Glasses? Hip hop needs a new leader. Where is the new classic album? Where is the new Dr. Dre? Where is the new Snoop? Where is the new Top Dog? Is it PG Lang? Where is the West Coast act? Where's the West Coast at? Nipsey and Dot had it, but where the new 23-year-old with the classic?
I mean, that's for a lot of density and time. I mean, there is not any place that's producing that degree of density. There's always a gap,
I mean, what's the new culture that we should say? Let's pull it away from artists. Let's stop making it like Dr. Dre is the star. Let's stop making it like Snoop Dogg is the star. Let's not make it like Top Dog is the star. Let's not make it like Nipsey Hussle is the star or K-Dot. Let's make the culture the star. Let's make the stuff that Tookie, Raymond, Terry Goudreau, Peabody from Lanes. Let's make that the star. The culture, the star. Let's make Baby Gangsta from Santana. Shout out to the OG homie. Let's make Honcho, not Big Brother Honcho, but Honcho from Great. They are the stars. Turtle from Santana. That's who the stars were. The culture is the star. So the artists represent the culture. Puddin' and Tam was a star. Mob James in his prime was a star. That lifestyle is the star. That's what everybody fell in love with. The artists don't do nothing but artistically express the culture. So where is the new culture now? That's, the Dr. Dre, the Chronic album is rooted around us standing up and fighting outside of gangbanging and the way we lived our lives, but also us standing up against the state of California for not convicting the police officers over Rodney King. That's what made the Chronic the Chronic. The culture is the star. The culture is the leader of hip hop. So you don't get all of that stuff. You don't get the classic albums without a classic culture. You don't get a classic artist without classic culture. You got to really figure out where is the culture at. That's the trick. And I've been thinking real deep about this. I've been thinking real deep about this. Shout out to Fats. I love this podcast. I learn something new every episode. That's the goal, Fats. Like I'm here to teach, bro. I'm here to pass information. I'm here to tell you what Dr. Dre told me, because Dr. Dre may not tell you. Snoop may not tell you. I'm going to tell you what they told me. You're going to get it from me. I'm going to tell you When me and Q sit down, I'm gonna tell you what he told me. I'm gonna give y'all the game. I tell y'all what Mac 10 tell me all the time. I'm gonna pass the wisdom to you because I know that I may not be the person to use it, and you may be able to use it.
I think one story that's not been told yet in hip hop out of LA that has a lot of potential, like in its era, like in time frame, you know what I mean? Like LA and gang culture and a lot of the stuff that was going on had it was visually, optically, structurally, culturally so unique relative to any other place. You know, it was more something that it had a brand, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More than other places.
Yeah.
One thing that LA has that other cities don't have to that degree in the era of female rappers, LA has the sleaziest, hustling ass, conniving, hoe ass bitches like nobody else in this country. And one of them needs to make a goddamn album.
It needs to be a group of them.
Yeah. I mean, like the second place city is probably the one I'm in now.
Miami.
Well, and the Bay, but the Bay is still that's its own situation.
LA women or Southern California.
LA and Miami really got it, but there needs to be LA needs to do city girls in the way that it really does it. The thing about I feel like Miami, it's so physically narrow geographically. You could be the most hood rat ass chick, and you fucking a mile and a half. You have nowhere to go. Like you go in any direction, you can only go. You're alligators or you're at fucking Carbone's getting a $7,000 steak dinner or something like that. They race there. They get there so fast. They're in LA. It's so big. It's like you can stay like an insular street hustling woman much longer. Would have a bigger story. And the way that they do it, it's not like, oh, I just happened to get on the train with some ass cheeks hanging out, and then some rich lawyer threw me into his car because I only had to go 50 feet to find him. Like you have to have real craftsmanship and real angles and real game out there. And they got more of it than other places.
Man, that's my little homegirl Kriana. That was some stuff in their prime. That's a great point. And we need to find that. That's something we should offer the world. Shout out to Name Brand. Like you said, we spoil from having all this party culture. Well, that spoils the artist and the business, so you don't learn marketing. The rest of the country is spoiled from West Coast street urban culture, period. So they don't really value it. It's like if you like human beings are not, is it fair to say, Pete, human beings are not naturally gratuitous? Like they're not grateful. Like, is it fair to say like they tend to neglect things that happen so easy, like waking up?
1,000%. I mean, I think it's really observable. You see the degree of faith and religion decline as you go up in tax brackets. The more people achieve and the more that they're blessed with, the more they think it's them being special and the less they think it's circumstance being fortuitous for their ability to, do something special.
Did he say where's a new top dog? I mean, goddamn, how many top dogs do you think you're going to get? You got Eazy-E. You got Suge Knight. Right? You got Tony Lane. You got Top Dog. How many more all-time great black executives in hip-hop do you think you're going to get? Like, you just spoiled. Y'all just spoiled. You don't realize how great, Dude Dog is, or how great Suge Knight is, or how great Puff Daddy is. You take them for granted. You probably don't even deserve that type of excellence in black men from where we come from because the way you treat the ones we have now. It's no way you give Top Dog the credit that he deserves if you think you're going to get another Top Dog. You don't think you're going to get another Jordan. You don't think you're going to get another LeBron. But you think you're going to get a new Top Dog. You lucky you have Dude Dog from Bonnie Hunter. You lucky you have Top Dog Entertainment. He could have died. He could have been killed in a war. He could have went to prison for the rest of his life for the stuff that we had to do to be alive at this point, to live, to to, the things we had to do to survive. You lucky you got him, and you don't even treat it like you lucky because you don't understand the nuance of exactly what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. Like, you're lucky you got a top dog entertainment. You're lucky you have a brilliant mind like Dude Dog to run it. Women are currently dominating hip hop. Why are there no West Coast women in hip hop? Shout out to Sherry. I think it's because culturally, like Peter's saying, you have to figure out culturally what you're going to represent. And once you figure that out, you'll be good.
And I think there's a little bit of resistance at that level because LA and California does have that kind of pimp glamorization mentality. There is going to be a little bit of resistance to the whole glamorization mentality to a degree. And some of that's going to come out in some of that music. You know what I mean?
Facts. Shout out to Name Brand. That's deep. What's the new culture if the party is dead? Businessmen, ball players, there's no culture in that stuff. Again, that's a whole nother conversation that we have to tackle on another day. West Coast is the culture. The party is the outro of the current state of rap we in. No, like the street urban culture is, skaters or gang banging, like the way people dress and act and talk. Party was the way we kind of lived our lives. Like funk was what the West Coast hip hop scene in a mass was built off of, the music. And funk is rooted in the party. So the party, it worked together. But without the party, the music we make it doesn't have a natural place to travel. It becomes independent. Like, you got to think what's breaking music now is TikTok. The last big West Coast song was Soak City 310, baby. That got broke off social media. I mean, I don't remember the last time I heard a song break in just LA parties. Like, everybody was doing the dance to Soak City. You know what I'm saying? That's what broke that song. He has great records since then. He has records, to me, the last two records 310 Baby put out are way better than Soak City. But because we don't have the infrastructure anymore to make records work, because the party is dying, which is, we'll tackle that on Friday, because like those songs are not getting as big as Soak City. It's just what it is. It's just fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. Shout out to Revenge. Yes, we do. Yes, we do get those glasses. What's the point of cherishing culture and hip hop and passing it down? That's what we in it for. We have the new hip hop Michael Jordan. LeBron did happen, and then Steph Curry came. But that's the point. That's why you only get one guy. You don't get 1,000 guys. And you're not going to get a Michael Jordan. You lucky you got Kobe. That was the closest thing. You're not going to get a LeBron. You're not going to get a Steph Curry. That's why you should appreciate them.
Yeah. The interesting thing about being number one is there can only be one.
Because it's number one. Shout out to Dick Griffey. Rest in peace to that legend. Solar Records, go do your homework. Kamaya is amazing, and she is doing incredible. And it's funny because I wanted to have her on the pod because she was talking about Tupac Must Die.
I'm just gonna, you know what? I made a decision right now. I'm gonna find some Blasian looking chick from the Valley who's got a lot of body. I'm gonna say, look, your new rap name is Sugar Baby. I will write the lyrics for you.
There you go.
Go dress fly as shit. Go in there, say that, get in front of a camera, look that way, saying this piece of paper here that I wrote for you. We're gonna go make a goddamn record. That's what's gonna have to happen.
Shout out to Don Dub. What's up, big dog? Hey, thank you for that lunch, buying us lunch. There is, though, TDE for Doshi nominated, but Doshi from Florida. And again, that's Top and Moose and the homies going to work. Like, you're not gonna get that often. That's not gonna happen. That's why you have to value what you have. Y'all got to stop trying to move on to the next thing so easy and value what you have. Like, that's the lack of gratuitous. That's the lack of gratuit. That, like, you don't have a grateful attitude. Shout out to Name Brand. Yeah, night. I'm crying. For sure. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really understand the greatness you're witnessing. That was something I had to do, though. So I'm not mad at you, Revenge. I'm not upset. Like, you have to learn. Like, it took, like, Snoop was somebody, perfect example before we get out of here. We gonna leave in 5 minutes so we can let y'all get back to work. I know you at your desk. You done finished eating your lunch. You still watching. Your boss gonna walk by. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna get you in trouble. We're gonna give y'all 5 more minutes, and then Friday we back discussing. I'm gonna call Kendrick and see if he'll hop on the live. I don't think he will, but I'm gonna ask him so we can talk about LA's party scene and how we saw it coming up.
Gosh,
what was my thought? What was I finna talk about?
What's the name of that dude who used to host all them house parties?
Snoop Dogg. Shout out to Revenge. K-Dot is 37. But you're missing the greatness of Doja Cat. Doja Cat is happening right now. Doja Cat is happening right now. So you're missing it. Stop. It's something new there too. You know what I mean? So again, let me get this last point out. So I'm gonna tell you, Snoop was the artist, bro. Ironically, this is crazy because again, like I said, I'm finna go check out this record with them. Snoop was somebody I was always spoiled by. I never tripped off Snoop as a rapper. Not like I didn't enjoy his music, you know what I mean, and play his songs and, all of that. Obviously, I heard more Snoop Dogg music than anybody else, but I didn't really look at him like I looked at rappers from somewhere else because I didn't understand what hip hop was. So again, all this Snoop Dogg music I'm digesting, I would have never named Snoop Dogg in my top 3. I'd have named Ice Cube, who kind of seemed a little different, Jay-Z, and Scarface, right? So the more I started to learn about hip hop and it being street urban culture, being in the Bronx with the legendary dudes from Spades, couple real dope brothers I got to meet, and the Eric B's and all of these legends, and they started to really help me understand what hip hop was. Everything that Snoop Dogg was started to shine brighter and brighter for me, right? And I looked one day, and after all this information, I looked and I was like, oh, it's this motherfucker. And if you really think about what hip hop is, that is what it is. He has never turned his back on the culture. He never denounced where he came from, how he grew up, none of the above. That is what it is. Ice-T, when you look at SVU, shout out to OG, when you look up Law and Order SVU, and they don't say Tracy Morrow. It don't say Tracy Morrow. It says Ice-T. That's a thing for hip hop. When you see that screen say LL Cool J, or when you look and you on ESPN, it says Ice Cubes. Like that is what they're doing for hip hop.
Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. He still holds it in there between the Curtis and the Jackson.
He trying, but you get what I'm saying? Like, that's the shit. That's what this shit is about. Showing people that come from these ghettos could evolve to be regular, incredible people in society if the opportunity is presented. And you watching them do that. You watching Ice-T be a part of television history. Yeah. You're watching him do it.
I'm telling you, I was at that shit in Vegas. It's like a libertarian thing, with a bunch of business people to go up and talk. So you gotta get whatever you're gonna get. But it's like it's called Freedom Fest in Las Vegas. And Ice-T's up there working the crowd, doing this interview. I was 30 years younger than the next youngest guy. It was just like 1,200 like 65-year-old white people who are like between libertarian and Republican, just clapping and laughing their asses off at every fucking hanging on every syllable this guy says for like 30 minutes in a row. It was unbelievable. And he was real as fuck. He didn't tailor anything to that audience. Not a fucking word. Not a fucking word.
Well, again, this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon Pacific Standard Time. Click that thumbs up before you get up out of here. Let everybody know you was here. Go in the description, right? Go in the description. Click the link. Subscribe to the No Ceilings podcast. Executive produced by Charlemagne the God, Black Effect, iHeart. Feel me? This has been an amazing conversation. Friday, we will be back to discuss why the party died. Yeah. Shout out to Dot for making the song Watch the Party Die. And that also, to some degree, is why West Coast hip hop feels like it's dying. So we'll be back here Friday at noon. Y'all be here. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm going to text K-Dot, see if I can get him to come on here. He may come, he may not. You just never know with the homie. But we could really talk about this and get into it. It's a really great conversation. So Friday we'll be here at noon. I'll let y'all know also what I think Snoop album. Because I'm going to go listen to that. So I'll let y'all know what I think of Missionary when we come back on Friday. So much love to everybody.